Hey, YouTubers, Tazman here, bringing you another episode of Foundry Virtual Tabletop, or VTT, from the ground up. And in our last episode, we talked about some macros and stuff like that, and it was brought to my attention by, oh, I don't have that window up. Hold on just one second while I bring up my comment. Well, actually, I could show you. Before I show you, let's talk about one other module that I want to say is such a simple module, but I kind of think it is critical to, it should be part of the actual base, the core of Foundry, and I'll show you why. So if we go under install module, we're going to find one called disable mouse wheel control for sliders. One of the things that is kind of annoying about Foundry, and it's not that bad, but sometimes when you're scrolling through menus with little options and stuff like that, there will be a little slider, and if you're scrolling and your mouse happens to just stop long enough on that, it will actually throw that slider in one direction or the other depending on which way you're scrolling, and you don't know where that setting was originally. So this is a module that will fix that, and let me just show you what I mean. Let's go to our game world. I've already done our add-on module updates. I've made sure that our system's updated, and let's go ahead and now go into our world, and I'll show you what I mean. I was asked in a private message on Discord if I could go a little bit more in depth on the developer console and accessing different things. So I've done a little research. Like I said, I'm not absolutely pro at this stuff. I know enough to get around and probably to be dangerous, but I don't actually know everything. As I learn more and more about it, I will definitely impart that knowledge to you guys. So here we are in game, and I'm going to go, for example, under configure settings. And if I'm scrolling down, for example, like here we know maximum frame rate is set to 60. But you'll notice even if I stop on this and move it, now it's moving. And this might happen where you're scrolling and you might not catch it, and you set something really weird and you don't understand what happened. So what this module does simply is it disables the mouse wheel. So if we go into save module settings, we can then go into our configure settings, module settings, and we can get more information on this. I believe it's in here. Yes. So as you can see, you can say disable the sliders so that it won't automatically do it. You can disable inputs. I really don't care about that. That's where the little thing on the side is. You can disable those. And then choose the escape key. So this is a key that when you're holding it, the mouse will work properly. And the default one was always control or command on a Mac. But it looks like now they actually give, I had it set, and I guess one of the later versions of this has actually made it so that you can set that, which you can actually set it to the Alt or the Control. You might even be able to set it more inside the configure controls, which is your key mappings, which is a new thing to version 9. So now if we go back to that same place, configure settings, and we're here on the core, we come here and we mouse over this, you'll notice it is not moving that. Now if I hold control because I want to actually move it, now if I scroll down or up, I can actually do that in the increments that it wants me to. So this will just help you from on accident changing some setting, because there's lots of these scroll bars, I guess sliders, not scroll bars, throughout the actual application. Now, while we're here, I wanted to point some out. This is another thing that Foundry has introduced. They actually have this show FPS meter, which will actually put a little frames per second meter right here to show you, how fast you're going. As you can see, this says the max frame rate will be 60. If my computer just can't handle 60, your eye refreshes. Well, 30 is usually what videos are recorded at and stuff. Your eye refreshes at 60. But 30, you really don't notice much. In fact, I believe this video, the default is 30 frames per second. So that means you're seeing 30 images every second in this video. So 30 is, like I said, kind of what most videos are. 60, and if you have a really good video card, it might even go higher and let you do like 120 or something like that. Some other things that I wanted to point out in here is now there's this performance mode. So the default is high. If you seem to be running Foundry and everything's working good, they do say, you know, it will never automatically put you on maximum. When your computer first comes up for the first time with Foundry, it will automatically select whether your system needs to be on low, medium, or high, but it never does do maximum. If everything seems to be good on high, go ahead and jump it to maximum, see if it works, because you'll even get a bit better. So what I wanted to point out is if we look at this shadow, for example, this is on high. I want to switch it to low and just kind of show you what the difference is. Now, lower end computers can still run Foundry fairly decently if they're on low. So if we do this, now you'll see it's not quite as nice. I mean, it still is really nice, and a lot of people might not even know, but this is going to save considerably a lot of process power on their computer. You can see we're getting about 30 frames roughly right now, which might be because it's in a VM or something, but it's not 100% as smooth as it could be. I mean, we have this little line right here. I don't know if that'll go away. We can see. So let's go ahead and go down. Let's go the other extreme. Let's go to maximum, save changes, and see what we get there. So you can see that this is it's a considerably smoother gradient. I still see that there, so we must actually have something bleeding through or something somewhere. But I wanted to point that out. So those are two of the big things I wanted to point out. The next thing I wanted to point out is, or demonstrate, is more about the development tool. So if we hit F12, and we get into our development tools here, we're going to actually make them fairly large so we can actually see. Hopefully you can read everything fine. I think you should, because like I said, I record this at a lower frame resolution so that it can be bigger on your screen if you expand it and stuff. So hopefully that works. So what we're going to do is, here we are, we're going to go up to the messages area, and we were talking about canvas. We were specifically talking about the rollable data that you can access from the canvas. So I can't do that. I want to be able to see those guys, so maybe I'm gonna shrink this down just a bit. Maybe let's do that. Maybe. I know this is going to be a lot more compressed now, though. Actually, another thing we could do, maybe we could throw it at the bottom. That might help. Hold on, I can make that big again. Let's click on this, and let's say put these guys down. Oh, we could actually put it on the right side. The bottom might be fine, though. All right, so so we have the canvas. We talked about that. I don't know, better lack of terms, container, namespace is what's usually used in programming. So we talked about canvas, right, and how we can access the different things. There's also a really big one that's called game, G-A-M-E. And by the way, oh, that reminds me what I was going to say. Because I'm not a very good typer, I'm not a fast typer. My fingers are kind of butter fingers and they like to misspell. So the comment I got over the week from the last video was from Stephen Yundit, and says, and it's completely related to what we did. Remember how we created a ring of lion's strength. So if we, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this very well. If we go in here, can I bring that up high enough? Go to inventory, scroll down. Oh, you're barely going to be able to see it, if anything. Let's close this just for a second because it is funny. It's right up a little more, maybe. There it is. The ring of loins strength. That is not what we meant to make. We did mean to make lions. So thank you for the comment and the correction. Lion strength. Yep. All right, so that's it. I thought that was kind of funny. All right, so let's go back in here. So we're going to talk about game, G-M-E, G-A-M-E, like so. Go ahead and hit enter there. And you'll see we have this game object, right? Or game namespace, container, I don't know, call it whatever you want. Inside this, you'll see we have things such as actor, audio, canvas, cards, collections, combats, data, 3D dice, folders, gamepad, all these different things. Some of these you might actually recognize as the things we have up here. We have, for example, our combat tracker. We have scenes, we have actors, we have items, we have journals and all that fun stuff. So we actually have the same information here. So if we go look at our actors, for example, we have 2 actors in here. So if we scroll down and we do game.ac, right, and do actors, and we hit enter, you'll see that we have, actually, well, we have a lot on the canvas. We don't, oh, that's the combat tracker. We have 8 actors, see? Technically, we have 8 actors. I was in the combat tracker. So under mobs, we have 4. Under players, we have 1 player controlled, and then we have 3 additional actors. Hold on just one second. All right. So each of these represent one of these actors. Now we can actually click in each one and figure out which one it is. So actor 0 here, if we go under value, we can see that this is a humanoid. If we go under data here, then we can see that this humanoid is the acolyte. So if we come under, I think it was that under mobs? Yep, acolyte right here. So we can get information on the token that we have here under this area right here. So we can go under a data, and then I believe a data again, and we can see here our ability, which is 11. So what is this? This is the cha. So I can't scroll down. Maybe I will want it on the other side so I can at least show this stuff. Let's go ahead and throw it on this side and see how that works. I mean, I could actually have it be a floating window, but I'm still then have all this stuff. So here we can see we have our charisma down here, 11. We have 10, 10, 10. Our wisdom is a 14. So you can see all these different values are here. Within each value, we actually have like any bonuses. We have proficiency. So if it's a proficiency to give us our saving throws, we have our DC, which is our armor class. We have our min, what was the min? Which I don't remember. We have like our save proficiencies right here. So you can find all kinds of information, and that's all just related to the charisma. We also have, this is the one thing we kind of ran into, and I'm not 100% sure why it's this way, but you'll notice we have duplicate information. I don't know if it's so you can have an alias or something. But when we were trying to do the lion's strength thing, I don't remember, was that in the actual recording I uploaded, or was that in one that I ended up scrapping? But when I tried using the abil instead of abilities, it didn't quite work right. It didn't actually increase the attribute that we wanted, or the ability. So we have all that. We have our attributes in here. Down here we have our AC. It's a flat 10. So if we go in here, we can actually see that it is just the 10 with natural armor. You can see there's the natural armor mentioned. We can check our encumbrance. If we go under, I believe, features, where's the encumbrance? Actually, it's under inventory. Are we using, let me just see if I have that. Whoops, that was the wrong one. Do we have the other? Oh, we didn't do the other sheet. That's all right. That'll be another module highlight I'm going to do. You can see here's dark vision is 0. So if we go click on senses, we can go look under here and we can see under senses, none of them are selected. Dark vision, bright sight, blind sight, tremor sense, true sight. And if we click on this right here, we can see blind sight, dark vision, tremor sight, true sight, units, as in feet, special senses, which is the special up there. So all this information you can actually gather from inside the console. Now, if you know this stuff, you can actually write a macro that modifies this stuff, kind of like we did with the lion strength ring. We know where those attributes are stored in the computer, and the computer speaks this language, not this language. The computer understands these values here because, you know, we have a variable and the value associated with it. It doesn't necessarily look at, oh yeah, they have any one language. You know, it just looks and sees if a value is correct as far as it assumes. So we have the ATTR, then we have attributes, which is once again the exact same thing. Experiment with it, see if you can get it to change in the character sheet when you use the shorter one. I use the shorter one because 1, I'm not a really good typer, and 2, my fingers, I have, I guess, fat finger syndrome or something, butterfinger or something like that, where one finger might get excited and press a key, which is why we got loin strength instead of lions. The O finger was like, I want to go next. We can also see, you know, here's a proficiency, resources, if they have layer actions, if they have, I don't remember what that one is, the legendary, I think that's the, I'm not sure which one that one is. But these represent the resources that you can track. You have effects that are currently on them. So if they had the effects, if we go equip that lion strength, this is the wrong person. We'd have to find this character in here. So if we found Brindy, for example, and I'm not exactly sure which one she is. This is going to be a trial and error. I know, like with some things, they actually put the thing right here, which is the identifier. I believe with tiles, for example, if we go put a tile down, let's go ahead and just throw a tile down here. And then we say create new. If we go back into that, a lot of times they actually have an identifier up here that you can go look at here. And I don't know why they don't do that with the characters and the tokens. It would be a little nice, so you don't have to use code to figure it all out. And I can show a little more about the code. Let's go check token. I don't remember if there was anything in here. I don't think there is that would give us information as far as that goes. So you can use a macro actually to find information. So you could say, go to, you know, the game.actors, and I want you to find in the array of our actors, our mapping or whatever, I want you to check the array and find one that has name equals Brindy or something like that. Because you'll see that, well, let's see if we can find one real quick. Let's see if we get lucky. So here's the value here. Is there a name on this? Name right there. That is, oh, that's actually our one, isn't it? Our Dragonborn Cleric? Is that who it was? No, that's that guy. Dang, so close. So let's check the next one. So when you do this in code, it's a lot easier. But we're just going to take a chance. There's Brindy right there, in fact. So if we go in here, and this is one thing I wanted to point out. So if we go in here, go to data, then go to data again, and let's say we go to the effects. Where was effects? So under details maybe? No, that's now I can't even remember where we saw effects. Spells, traits, resources, proficiency. There it is, effects right there. So as you can see, there is one effect on Brindy. And if we go in here and drill down a little bit, we can actually see that this is the ring of loin strength, because I didn't correct it here. Now I could actually come into here and change it. Come on, click it. L. There we go. Yeah. Give me that back. It's not very easy apparently. All right, here we go. So if I go delete that and put that there and then hit enter. So now it's changed there. If we go into here, went too far. You'll see it's also changed. So changing that here will change it on our character as well. Now some things will not update until you update the character using a macro saying, okay, now go refresh the screen or refresh that actor's data. But that's what I wanted to show you. Now if we go back under here, we can see the lion strength ring. If we go into our actor here and go under effects, we can see that the lion strength ring is not active right now. And I'm sure if we look in here, we can actually find a spot that says is not active at the moment. We would want unavailable maybe, or so it's not actually doing anything at the moment. So if we go into the character sheet here, I wanted to find that because I wanted to point out something. So let's see if we can find it real quick. Duration, document name, it might be under data. Could be flags, duration, disabled, faults, changes, label, origin, tint, transfer. Let's go look under flags, icons, the label, prototype here. This is the functions stuff. Transfer, I'm not sure where it is. Limited is temporary. That's undefined. There's the ID for the ring if we needed that, which is also up here. Has player owners, duration, object. Let's see if that has any info. I don't think it would because it's not active at the moment. But it's also passive. Disabled. Anyway, it is safe as long as you don't do what I did and actually click something a lot to actually try and change it. We could actually, I guess I could do it up here. So if we go under, let's say abilities, right? And we change some value, like let's change, which one should we change? Let's change her intelligence. So it's maybe she's not as intelligent, right? So here you can see all the different values. We can see that the main value for this is 11. We're going to go ahead and close that. And I'm going to go change it to, let's change it to 8. She's not very intelligent. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do that. If we go into the card, you'll see now it's changed. Now there are things that will not change instantly like this, because this is, anytime we open this card, it's going and reading all this data and it's filling in the card. But there are things that you might do that aren't going to be affected immediately because it's maybe something with the token itself, right? So we're at 24 minutes. I just wanted to kind of give you this idea. So anyway, that was our actor. Let's just go look at a couple more, and then I think we're going to call it good. So let's go game, right, and do dot. And here we can see we have canvas, we have cards, collections. I believe your collections are your compendium. So if we go under that, hit enter, you'll see we have 3. Do we have, how many compendiums do we have? I need to move this way. There's compendiums right there. Actually, collections isn't compendiums. I don't know which one. Is that our maps, our scenes? No, we only have one of those. Trying to remember. Oh, actually, packs is our compendium packs, because there is a packs, if I remember right. There's also one called journal. There is one called items, which is representing this right here. So if we wanted that actual item, we do game.item. Hopefully I spelled it all right. I did item, or items, I guess. And here you can see there's one item under there. So that would be this guy. And this is, if we go look under our array here, we can see that its value is, we should have a name in here, I believe. There it is right there. Our ring of lion's strength. So we changed it in there earlier, but we didn't change it there. So as you can see, this is our actual information that is located up in here. Now, one thing that's important to note is also this token right here is associated directly with this token information in here, or this is kind of an actor of the actual token. So if we double click this guy, I believe it's in here, we can see that the represented actor is Burundi. We could always change it to Acolyte or any of these other ones that are in here. And then it would take on those attributes. So if we, for example, let's take Acolyte and point it to Commoner, right? This isn't necessarily a good thing to do, but if we took Acolyte here and pointed it at Commoner and said update, now when we double click Acolyte here, it should, actually it probably didn't update. Let's hit F5 real quick, just make sure we're doing this right. Yeah, it's going to tell us that it's not happy with that. So if we double click that, oh, actually it's the token, not that. So the actual Acolyte character sheet is pointing to the commoner. So if I were to delete the commoner, for example, actor, mobs, let's get rid of the commoner. And then we try and open the commoner here. It's no longer linked. And I believe I'm right here. Or wait, no, it's this Acolyte that we're clicking on, right? Because this one is not linked to any actor now because we deleted it, right? This one down here doesn't have a represented actor anymore because we deleted it, which can be a problem. So there are modules that make it so that each of these guys have all that data and information. But there's some common information that each one will have. And this is how I understand it, to kind of save on resources, because each of these things is a boatload of data. If your game isn't running super smoothly, you might want to delete some of these things. So like if I have a whole monsters manual almost in here, and I only have 5 of those monsters represented in the scene, and you think, well, that's not very much. It's still loading everything else in memory in this area, and you'll end up like running out of memory and all that fun stuff, which, well, it's really not fun. But so it's a good idea to kind of keep these things clean. Now you can do that by, coming into compendiums, create a compendium, and let's just call this our tutorial, right? So this is going to be our tutorial compendium. It's going to be for actors. So let's say I want to archive some of those actors. So here we have our tutorial compendium for actors, right? And the best thing we can do is, take these guys, for example. We could drag mobs in there and get all those mobs. Is it locked or something? Cannot read properties, no constructor, blah, blah, blah. Let me go make sure it's not locked. Where was it? Tutorial is what I call it, right? Did I pass it? I think I did. It's right there. So technically, I guess you're not supposed to drag the whole folder. You would just drag the individual components over, and it will keep their information there. And then maybe that one. And then you can safely delete them here. So, for example, we get rid of this Foundry VTT one. And later on in the campaign, we need to bring them back. Like this is an NPC, right? So we can delete it, save up our resources, because like I said, that's a boatload of information that it's having to load. And then later on in the campaign, if I need to bring it back, I just drag it back in, and now we have access to it again. So just a couple tips on how to keep your game running a little smoother. I mean, you could see when we were looking at a single actor. Oops, I did that wrong. I can't talk into this at the same time, I guess. So you can see here that as we were looking at it, there's a lot of information just associated with a single token. And if we clean that up, now our players don't have to load that information. We don't have to have that information being broadcast across the internet. So it's going to run smoother. So if your game's running a little choppy or whatever, the two big things you should do is one, go into the settings and change that performance. Go down one if it's not running very smoothly. But even before that, just go double check. Make sure that you don't have lots of actors here that are not represented in the current scene. You'll find that cleaning that up will definitely help your game a lot. I mean, and it's not so important with things like music, because music, for example, there's just one song. I don't know if I have any music in here. No, I don't. But a lot of these other things only have, a single thing. Your items, they actually have a fair amount of data behind a single item. So, I would say maybe your actors and your items, maybe your journals, if you don't need them anymore, just kind of archive those off. Anything you can do to free up system memory and stuff is a good idea. All right, well, I kind of got off topic a little towards the end there, but it's important information, and it kind of ties into the stuff we were talking at the beginning. Feel free to jump in there, use it more as a recon. Don't change values, or if you're in a testing world, go ahead and change values, see what they do, see what effects it has. Always back up your worlds. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord and my other channels. And don't forget to tell other people about my channel. Have them check it out. If they like what they see, they can sub. We can grow the channel. It'll be awesome. The other thing is, I may or may not have an episode next week of Foundry VTT. I've got to see if I get enough information or content to teach before I do that. So we'll see if we have one. And that's it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.